Hi, my name's Charlie Wackley. I'm a Scientologist, and today we're going to be talking about how to deal with loss. So this is a little bit more of a tough subject. I'm going to be talking you through a very, very simple, practical tool you can use to help someone who has recently been through a loss. So that could be a bereavement, a breakup, any kind of loss of a person, close to them or not close. I'm going to give you a really simple practical procedure that you can go through with them. It does require two people. So if you're the one that has experienced the loss, you will need a friend to do this with you. Or if it's someone that you're trying to help, if you want to help someone that's recently been through a loss, you can use this procedure on them and it will significantly help. So I'm going to talk you through the procedure. If you have any if you have any questions, you can just leave them in comments and I will get back to you to help you with this. Okay, so before I take you through the step-by-step procedure, I just want to share a kind of really personal example of this. And to be honest, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to share this or not, but I feel like it will be more useful to the people watching to see that I've actually applied and used some of this stuff myself. So I unfortunately lost my father to cancer about 2 years ago. And, you know, despite I feel like being in pretty good shape myself, spiritually, mentally, physically, there's obviously nothing that can prepare you, I guess, for a loss like that. You know, it was a huge loss. My dad was, I guess, my total role model growing up, and a very, very stable part of my life. So it was hugely difficult to go through that. And there was a period of, I don't know, weeks, maybe a couple of months where I was in honestly like a pretty dark place. And this procedure, which I'm about to walk you through, is something that someone did on me. And I don't know if saying it saved my life is like too much, but definitely from an emotional, mental health point of view, it really pulled me through what I could describe as one of the toughest times in my life. And I can still remember, and it's funny now because it makes me smile, and you wouldn't think that maybe it would make me smile, but I really vividly remember the person that did this procedure with me. I remember I was sat out in this space that was kind of like a big garden, and this person who was like an auditor, like a counsellor, was doing this procedure on me. And I think I totally lost track of time, but I'm sure I was there for hours and bawling my eyes out. You know, I was really in grief, going through the grief. And looking back at it, I think one of the things that it did for me is, like, obviously you go through bereavement and loss, and this somehow almost like sped it up. I don't know if that makes sense, but like maybe where before I would have taken weeks or months to get through this, maybe even years to get over this loss, it felt like an intense period of grief and crying and dealing with the loss that ended in a huge relief, I suppose. And yeah, it's funny because I know that this is a sensitive subject, and obviously one does have to go, it's not like that you wouldn't ever experience the grief of loss, but the thing that I got from it that is, you know, is just totally invaluable is that now when I think about that loss, or specifically I think about my dad and the loss of my dad, like I instantly only remember the good. I don't know, like I'm filled much more with joy than grief of the memories we had and the childhood that I was privileged enough to have with him. And so although there are probably aspects of it that could still make me feel upset or cry, like my general response to the whole thing from that moment on is just like, I couldn't be more thankful to feel like this towards something which is essentially a loss. So yeah, that's why this particular practical thing means a lot to me. And I hope even if it can help one person like it helped me, doing this video would be totally worthwhile. So I'm going to go through the procedure with you. I hope that gives you some context of what it can do, and to remind you, this could be a loss of a person as in bereavement, or a breakup of a relationship. So I'm going to take you through the kind of background of how this works, okay? So he says, a person who has just lost his girl or a woman who has just lost her man feels the horrible sadness and loss it imparts to everything. Actually, everything in the environment will talk to him or her about the lost love. For some period of time, it will be impossible for him to look around and not be reminded of this person. When one's concentration has been heavily on an individual, it is sometimes almost heroically difficult to not associate everything with that person. The trick is to find something that isn't reminding the person of the one he or she lost. One might have to search a long way to find something. This is the way to recover from a love affair. The situation is in actual fact a simple one. The individual has identified everything in the environment with his unrest. By directing the person's attention to things in the environment which are not so connected, and making him find things which are not actively reminding him. So one might have to search a long way to find something. And again, like I remember this, the first maybe few hours of doing this procedure, I just exactly like it was saying, it's like everything. It was like, oh, I remember that tree reminds me of a childhood experience with my dad. And it was like everything was just pushing this loss on me. And by the end of it, you'll see what happens. So he says, do the following. Tell the person. So this is really important. You're going to have to be with a person. So if you've gone through the loss, you need a friend to help you. If there's someone you want to help, use this procedure on them, but it's 2 people. Do the following. Tell the person you are going to help them. So, okay, listen, I know you've been through a loss. I'm going to help you with it. Come with me. Tell him or her. Now, this is the important bit. This is the thing you want to get exact. So make sure you log on to the course, Scientology.org/courses, and you can find this. So tell him or her, find something that isn't reminding you of blank. Then it says name of person he or she lost. So again, find something that isn't reminding you of blank. So if that was, let's say the ex-boyfriend's name is Mark, it would be find something that isn't reminding you of Mark. And you'd want to go and get them to do that, right? So it says, repeat the command, getting the person to find something else that is not reminding him or her of the person until he or she has a realization and feels better about the situation. So, and just to make it really simple, find something. So that could be your phone maybe reminds you of them, but this little stapler has nothing to do with Mark. So find something, oh, well, that stapler doesn't make me think of Mark. Good. Then you would, again, give the command again, repeat the command again. Find something that isn't reminding you of blah. And then they find something else, right? And you want to do that until the person realizes something or feels better about the situation. This simple procedure can help the person recover from his or her lost love and begin to live again. So again, really powerful. I want to stress that if you're going to do that with someone, make sure you look up the information here and you copy the wording of how you're meant to say that so that you really do the procedure justice. And just as a pre-warning, you're going to get some grief, and this might not take 5 minutes. So make sure you're fully prepared to do this procedure and do it justice, but it's a really powerful one if you can do that. So I hope that if either you who's watching have been through a loss or someone in your environment has, that you can use this to help them. Thanks, guys.